For all you League of Legends lovers out there, there's loads of you in the comments keep asking for this one, so we thought, okay, why not? This is the story of Sjokz, and we know nothing about it yet, do we?
We know literally nothing.
No.
What I do know is, as you just mentioned, there's actually 2, maybe 3 people are constantly asking for this video.
Yes.
So we've finally done it, just to shut you all up. I don't know. We was probably always going to do it anyway. We're going to go through a whole load more League of Legends stuff. We know there's a whole load of content out there, and we've not yet covered it. So it's just one of those we're just going to drag it out until the next championships, which will probably be the MSI 2020. So, but after having just now seen the 2019 championships, we're understanding more as time goes on, which is great.
Very excited by all the updates, and the competition was great.
Yeah, so it is. So here it goes. Finally, without further ado, the story of Sjokz.
Let's take a look.
There are few constants in League of Legends esports. Between roster shuffles, players retiring, and legacies ending.
That signals the end! The SKT dynasty is over!
But there are a few things you can always count on. NA will always choke. The broadcast will always be delayed. And Sjokz bringing fans across the world some of the biggest moments the game has ever seen. From the goofy
Whoa, bro. Too much headbanging, danger for our lives here.
to the emotional.
I'm really sorry to all of my fans that I let you down.
To the savage.
Yeah, we did check your solo queue records on Jinx. It wasn't fantastic, but it was great in T-Scare.
Sjokz is one of League of Legends' most recognizable faces. But maybe more importantly, Sjokz has helped define a key element of modern esports broadcasts and brought players' personalities to esports fans. This is her story. Eefje Sjokz de Portere was born on June 16th, 1987 in Sint-Andries, Belgium. Now known best as the face of the EULCS, Sjokz didn't start her career in League of Legends as a pro, in the same way that many casters and analysts do these days. In fact, she didn't start as a League of Legends fan at all, since her first gaming love was Unreal Tournament. As a kid growing up in Belgium, Sjokz played plenty of video games, but found her way to Unreal Tournament. UT was one of the first massively popular online shooting games, with plenty of guns, modes, and features to keep players interested. Sjokz, for her part, played Instagib Capture the Flag, on Clan Prepare for Your Doom, even playing in several LAN tournaments and winning a Nation Cup with Team Belgium.
Let's show some time back with the CRT screens.
So in the Nations Cup, Belgium would win, and actually in the Euro Cups and on the LAN parties I played, my team would always come in second to a team called Majestic 5. We would be in Prepare for Your Doom, and it was kind of a rivalry.
But after graduating from high school and going to university to study history, she had to drop playing the game competitively to focus on her studies. As her time at university was closing out, she began to panic. Sjokz didn't feel like she was ready for the real world. She felt like she needed more time. She didn't know what she wanted to do, she didn't know where to go, so she decided to stay in school.
I was very much attracted to the history side of everything, so I decided to do history for 4 years. Over the course of those 4 years, I actually discovered that I liked to be a sports reporter a lot more.
She moved to Brussels to study journalism, then back to Ghent to get a teaching degree. With 6 years in school and 3 degrees, Sjokz entered the working world. But still had no idea what she wanted to do.
You're in the system where it's all about studying, getting your grades, but you also have relative freedom, you get to kind of plan your own time. And then when that's over, okay, am I gonna be a 9 to 5 person? Am I gonna have kids and, I don't know, live remotely and just do my job and then I'll retire? And all those thoughts were just in my head of like, is this for me? What do I want to do?
She worked various temp jobs, but when she wasn't working, Sjokz was at home, playing video games. And then, an old friend from her Unreal Tournament days introduced Sjokz to a new game.
League of Legends, by any chance?
League of Legends wasn't new in 2011, but it was still growing, and its pro scene was still being built out. Sjokz had never played a MOBA before, but she was hooked. The competition, the scene, it reminded her of her time playing Unreal Tournament in her carefree high school years.
One of my old clanmates, he said, this is free, you should try it, it's fun, and I basically was really attracted to the fact that it was just really fun. It was a really good game to play with 5 people, to be on TeamSpeak, and you know, it was a learning curve. I was really bad. I mean, I've never really been great at League of Legends, but it was just so incredibly fun.
By day, Sjokz waited tables, cleaned houses, and answered phone calls. But by night, she was back to staying up late, playing games with friends.
True gamer at heart, ain't she?
And then, one fateful night, Sjokz stumbled across a stream that changed her life.
It must have been 2012, and it's in Hanover, and I think it was Counter Logic Gaming, but it was like Hotshot GG and Saint Vicious and all those people, so really like old school. And I remember watching a lot of that in my first couple of, you know, discovery steps of competitive League.
This game that Sjokz had been playing for months now had a competitive scene, just like Unreal did, but it was bigger in every way. Tournaments were more glamorous, prizes were higher, and perhaps most notably, the superstars were already there. She wasn't the best player in the world, but she knew in that moment that she needed to be part of the League of Legends community, so she got to work. Sjokz found her way to SK Gaming, who hired her to write news about tournaments and team changes. It was a small job, but she made it into something more. Her articles eventually got her a job as SK's lead editor for League of Legends, and eventually into the role that let her truly break into the scene, the host of Summoner's Recap.
Hey you guys, I'm Sjokz, and this is the Summoners Recap, your weekly
She look a bit different now,
news
doesn't she?
fix in just a couple of minutes. Hey guys, and welcome to the Summoners Recap live from Austin, Texas. Hey you guys, I'm Sjokz, and this is the Summoners Recap, still your weekly League of Legends newscast.
Summoner's Recap was an early video show for League fans looking to get caught up on the scene. It wasn't perfect, but the community rallied around it for both its content and the personality behind it.
French casting
Yeah, you
duo
can see how that's all
Chips
starting out.
French.
Yeah.
Chips in what?
Sjokz cared about League, and it showed, which meant more people came knocking at her door to get her in their videos. She was a regular guest on Whose League Is It Anyway, a popular League personality talk show.
Yes, hello, my name is Ifje Sjokz the Poster, and I'm drinking Martini Bru, which is, I know, some kind of, not really champagne, like a little under that, but still really good. And, you know, because we have something to celebrate, man. We all did good this year.
And got a chance to start traveling to events and interviewing players at tournaments around
Wow,
Europe.
that's brilliant.
Hey guys, this is Sjokz, and I'm here with our star player Ocelot, who is feeling a bit better than he was yesterday, but probably still not totally over what happened.
Those opportunities got her a gig covering US esports tournaments for the Cybersports Network, going to MLG Dallas.
Hey guys, this is Sjokz here at MLG Dallas with I Will Dominate Jungler for Team Dignitas.
Lone Star Clash,
Hey guys, this is Sjokz here for Cybersports Network from the Lone Star Clash 2 with Aframu AD Carry for Team Fear.
and the IPL Finals in Las Vegas.
I've been here
IGN, that.
since I arrived 2 days ago, and yesterday was like the training, getting used to stuff day, and it was really fun. We played some arcade games, got to know a lot of new people, so.
Going back home, Sjokz's parents and government were putting pressure on her to find traditional, steady work.
Really?
The whole
Well,
time,
yeah.
she was still working temp jobs while covering League of Legends.
She probably wasn't getting
and
paid
she
much,
was
was
running
she?
out of money.
They were right, in essence, right? Because I was like in that hybrid between being a student and between being a freelancer, and there wasn't really a lookout to a steady job. So things were getting quite difficult. I knew I had to make a decision, or I had to find a job, or I had to quit and leave everything behind.
With the LCS on the horizon, things looked great for players, but content creators, Sjokz included, just weren't sure what it would do to their space. In December, Sjokz went to IEM Cologne when one of the producers approached her to do a quick interview with a fan for the broadcast.
So at one point I was approached by one of the higher ups or people involved in the broadcasting at ESL, and they just said, do you want to do this? I believe it was a fan interview or like a fan check-in, and then that kind of qualified as a sort of a first step or audition. But I wouldn't say I completely didn't realize it. I definitely just kind of realized it, but I wasn't that savvy in like business-wise and what they were trying to do. So I just did a good job, apparently, and that came back to me later on.
ESL was gearing up to run the first season of the EULCS, and just a few weeks after that interview, she was hired to do player interviews on the broadcast. And she's never looked back. Since joining the EULCS broadcast, Sjokz has become one of the biggest names in League of Legends. She's on League of Legends fans' screens every week, whether it's for LCS matches.
Hello everyone, I'm Sjokz and welcome to the second day of our Week 2 coverage of the League of Legends European LCS Summer Split.
All-Stars.
I'm Sjokz on duty, and it's here on this stage that we'll be crowning the winners of the 2013 League of Legends All-Star Tournament.
It's going down to a T already.
Yeah.
I have an amazing poker face. Oh.
It's actually really good. I'm not even saying it. I'm not even saying it just to say it. It's actually really good. Yes, there you go.
Or hosting Worlds.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the League of Legends Season 3 World Championship!
Which means she's also been there for some of League's biggest moments. Sjokz was one of the voices that kicked off the inaugural season of the EULCS, marking a new era of not just League of Legends, but esports in general. That same year, she was also one of the hosts of Worlds, the most watched esports event in history to that point, played in a sold-out Staples Center.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Season 3 World Championship Final! I'm Sjokz coming to you live from the Staples Center here in Los Angeles, California.
Being there effectively made Sjokz one of the faces of professional League of Legends. She was on every broadcast. Every fan and casual watcher got to recognize her between games.
Just making one person's day is the best feeling in the world. Like when we have a show and then the fans are watching and they come and they're like, can we take a picture, or can we talk to you guys for a second? Like, of course, that's the coolest thing about the job, that you just talk to these people who love the exact same thing that you love every single day.
That is her secret, really, that she actually loves what she's doing. She actually is a fan of the game and a fan of the fans.
That is the point to it.
Players.
That really is, because you could really just do it as a job, and if you've not got that passion or that love, then that'll show, won't it, on screen and to the fans.
It's just robotic, wouldn't it? You'd just be going through the motions of, this is like whoever and blah blah blah. But you can see it in her face as well. She's got really nice expression of enjoyment and fun. She's easy on the eye as well. Fits in absolutely.
That's the thing I'm finding right there, is how easy that seems to have been. I'm sure it's been a struggle for her.
It
looks like she's just fallen nicely onto it.
It's kind of made it look like she easily did this and that, but it looks like she had to put in the work. She did a bit of journalism, which didn't really get her there, did it? And she had to then fall back to her parents, and they were like, get a real job.
Well, no one could take this seriously.
Exactly.
But now I think that's starting to become a little bit
Things
more
like
serious.
this are becoming esports is a real thing now. Yeah,
certainly.
It's great.
It also showed off just how good she could be at adapting to bad situations.
What a game to start everything off here in Europe. I mean, people said that you guys didn't look as good in the off-season, but it looks like you've had quite a lot of preparation. Tell us about preparing for this huge first matchup.
Well, we practice. I hate this.
It's kind of annoying, but you'll be fine.
Okay, you should have taken me for this interview with this noise.
Her personality began to shine through. Sjokz has said that developing a personal connection to the players she interviewed was important, and that always comes through in the absolutely brutal slams she delivers to certain players.
I just assume that they're really good because they've always been good.
Well, it wasn't 50-50 for alternate yesterday, I'll tell you that.
What? But as we count,
Fair.
gotta be honest, you guys got smashed by Gambit there. And what did you take from that? What did you learn from that?
Smash? Oh, well.
We have bragging rights. We won 3 games, they won in points. Everyone's a winner.
That's something losers would say.
And at Worlds 2015,
Brilliant.
Sjokz showed she can be more than just the savage, fun interviewer. She stood in front of an emotional Dyrus, offering him a literal shoulder to cry on while he gave his retirement speech.
I'm really sorry to all of my fans that I let you down.
Dyrus, it's only normal for someone like you who tries so hard to do his best to feel this way in this particular moment, but all these people really genuinely support you, and there are so many people who do, because you've built up an incredible career. Every single NALCS game, 6 times in the finals in the NALCS, 5 times at the World Championship. That can't be underestimated, and they've always been there for you. What do you want to say to them?
Now it's time to open a new book. Right now, my story ends here.
I think there's nothing left to say. You have influenced the lives of so many people, and you will continue to do that. Thank you so much for willing to do this. And one more time for Dyrus, his incredible career, and the fact that he was willing to talk to us here.
Wow.
Another story we're going to have to...
We did see a clip of
Anything
that
away from
before, weren't we? A very
Dyrus
brief
the
bit.
way it was, but it was definitely also a very important career moment for me. It's when I also got a bit of recognition for being able to kind of gel in all circumstances because of the way I handled that interview. And just as a fan, because people often forget that we are still fans, you know, we're viewers.
That's the point to
it was awesome to be a part of, you know, this guy who has an absolute huge legacy, who is just opening up and at the biggest stage that exists for League of Legends is absolutely wonderful.
League fans can always expect Sjokz on the desk or after a game, but her constant presence has helped define one of the most important things to League of Legends' continued success: the players' personalities.
Finally, they've been clapping all along, so would you like to finish with a couple of words for all the TSM fans out here?
Give me this.
Not as easy as I wanted it to be. It's not riding a bike. Yeah, I feel like a child and a heavy one as well. It's faster for sure.
Yeah, we just did the story, Ankos.
So
Yeah.
That's so easy.
You remember when one of the first times you were going to be on the desk and you were like, I'm not sure if I should do this, and you've changed so much since then. Yeah.
Esports has a reputation for wooden players. The stereotype of your average esports player is that of someone cold, detached, bad at socializing. And while it's not necessarily true of every esports athlete, it's hard to convince people they should be watching tournaments if the players aren't given the chance to overturn that stereotype. That's why Sjokz interviewing players between games was so important in the early days of the EU LCS. Sure, she was doing it beforehand, but LoL's community was still relatively small, and her interviews weren't raking in hundreds of thousands of views. But every one of those League fans was watching the LCS, and having Sjokz after nearly every EU game, interviewing players to humanize them, did wonders for getting people attached to the real people behind the incredible plays.
You get to live through a lot with these guys. You know, you see whenever they win or lose, you can talk to them, you ask them sometimes behind the scenes how they're doing and if they're all right, and you discover more and more step by step. But it is really a year-long process, and it took several years for me to get very comfortable with people in general. But the fact that you just see them and you can talk to them about a lot of things makes you be able to break down a bit more boundaries when it comes to on-air interviews.
And that relationship with the players is at the heart of what makes Sjokz so unique. A couple of interviews in a weekend at a tournament doesn't do as much as multiple interviews every week with honest, genuine answers from players who are willing to open up to someone who became their friend as the seasons went on.
So I think the best for me was to just come here and meet all the fans, and obviously see her pretty face every morning makes it a lot better.
Ooh.
You've gone already.
She's been in the scene so long at this point that the players know her and trust her. But it wasn't just the players' personalities that fans warmed up to over time. They also warmed up to Sjokz herself, who, through ubiquity and skill, became one of the biggest names in League, but thanks to her personality, also one of the most beloved.
Alright, stop. Sonic, wait and listen. Jankos was back, was as bright as Leeson. He hit the Q, the kick, and more, but it wasn't enough to settle the score for Ice, baby. Was that me? Okay. It sounds like Soaz, but thank you so much, guys.
There are a few things that League of Legends fans have grown to count on, but the fact that they count on Sjokz to bring them closer to the players, closer to the people who seem untouchable, makes her incredibly important to the League of Legends experience. Sjokz is on stream every week, and while she isn't doing as many interviews these days, she's responsible for drawing League fans in, for making people care about League of Legends and its superstars. She's been there for some of League's biggest moments, some of its most emotional moments, and every goofy headbang in between. When many people think of League of Legends, they don't just think about the superstars. They think about Sjokz, who brought those superstars to them.
I actually feel a little bit guilty now that we didn't look at that earlier.
Yeah,
it's right. It's not actually all about the players and the setup of this and what's going on here, the championships there and the leagues here, etc. It's actually, you know, she is right. She's probably brought in quite a lot of people into this.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, we've seen her in, well, nearly everything that's just got the games and things. And it just seems she was like there, just there, you know. You didn't realise that she had a struggle she had to get there.
And the way that she's comfortably now, I mean, she's not doing as many interviews, but the interviews were there at the start. She was representing the league by doing all these, like, you know, in front, literally looked like she's in a lounge or somewhere doing these like weekly broadcasts, and she's just fallen into that place of journalism so comfortably and so naturally. So let's hope that it just continues to keep going, and it should be there for many more years to come. I'm sure she probably will be, no doubt. So yeah, let us know your thoughts of Sjokz in the comments below. We're not sure where we're going to go from this one. We'll keep you on your toes on that, but there will be more League of Legends, so be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell on that. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you real soon.
Catch you on the flip side.